27th meeting.
I had one item that I wanted to maybe add to, let me find it, the section about the street renaming. I think that we should add that the HERE Commission requested that it also be able to weigh in on any street name applications that come in along with the Historical Society. And I'm not finding the page, but it is. Yeah, on item 4A. So maybe we could just add a line that the HERE Commission also requested to weigh in. Other than that, I didn't have any other edits.
Are there any more additions or edits? If not, if I could have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve the minutes with that update.
And a second? So Adrian, if you could please take the vote.
Commissioner Borja?
Aye.
Commissioner Brenhag?
Aye. Oh, aye.
Commissioner Fitzsimmons?
Aye.
Commissioner Herrera?
Aye.
Vice Chair Godo?
Aye.
Chair Jennings Nunez?
Aye.
Motion passed by a vote of 6 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 1 absent.
Thank you. So we are now on to our discussion items. And our first discussion items is going to be our first guest speaker for the night, our guest speakers for the night. We have invited representatives from Foothill Family to be here with us. So Foothill Family, if you haven't heard, and I'm sure they're going to give us more information, is a series of 6 family centers that cover a lot of San Gabriel Valley. They have a center in Covina, Duarte, El Monte, Pasadena, Pomona, and West Covina. And they provide comprehensive mental health care, developmental program, and social services that really impact toddlers all the way up to our seniors. So we really welcome them today and thank them for providing this information. We have Erin Copeland, who is here with us, and Melissa Alanis. So Ms. Copeland and Ms. Alanis will give you the floor.
Guys,
I'm sorry, as you're getting started, and I don't think so, but do we have any public comments on this item?
We do not.
Thank you. And now you have the floor.
thank you so much. Ms. Chair, this is my kind of first time addressing a HERE commission, so thank you again for inviting us and having us here and allowing us to share this information with the City of San Gabriel residents. Like you said, we're Foothill Family, and we have been in the community for about 95 years now. We have impacted the life of more than 23,000 children and families annually through outreach, education, wide range of mental health and social services in the San Gabriel and Pomona Valley, and Glendale, Burbank, and the cities in between. We were founded in 1926, and our goal is to empower children and families to achieve success in relationships, school, and work through community-based services that advance growth and development. So through our mission, we've been able to create pillars that focus those services in certain areas. So we do mental health services. We focus from 0 to 5 early childhood development. We do school-based services, and we have memos of understanding with some of the schools here in San Gabriel. And then we do youth and family services. So in total, we have about 26 programs that reach to our communities and have specific focus. And PAIRS is actually one of the programs. It's one of our newest programs. And PAIRS stands for Parents Invested in Relationship Success. And It's a relationship education program for those who are parenting children. So whether they're in a relationship or whether they're just a single parent, it really does have a benefit to participate in the workshops that teach couples or individuals the skills they need to nurture love, because they are the biggest model and mirror for the children in the next generation to come. So the person will leave with a whole new appreciation for who they are and who their partner is, or what type of foundation they want in a relationship in the future. The workshops are really easy. They're spanned over 6 weeks, and they cover communication skills, address problem resolution strategies that work, reveal how there's or discover hidden issues that might be fueling triggers or events, that lead to problems or arguments that kind of come over and over, and move towards caring friendships. The point of this program, funded federally, is to reduce domestic violence and reduce child abuse that happens in the San Gabriel Pomona Valley. And part of that is just knowing what's healthy and what works and what can be fun, and recognize those danger signs that can lead elsewhere. The PAIRS program is available both in English and in Spanish, and the classes are held virtually. We also do them when parents are available. So the workshops are available weekday evenings. We do them from 5 to 7, from 6 to 8, and we also do them on Saturdays. So it's a continuous program that we can have parents either fill in where they feel like it would be best for them. Even, let's say, if they are in a relationship, them and their partner work different shifts, so they're unable to attend the same workshop. They can have one do it on Saturday, the other one's on the weekday evening. We even have weekday classes. So the really great thing about being federally funded, we will be here in the San Gabriel Pomona Valley for 5 years, and then hopefully, if it expands to the greater Los Angeles County, then we have kind of backing that it's been working. It's free of charge, does not require an income bracket, does not require a type of insurance, and we don't ask participants if they are of documented status. Whether they're in a committed relationship, on different schedules, been married for 20 years, or just want to know how to keep that spark alive, the workshops really do benefit. I've been in a relationship for 13 years, and there's things that I learned. I'm like, oh yeah, I do that. So it helps knock down those communication walls that creep up over time. The pandemic was really stressful, and it changed a lot of the way family dynamics are. People had to change jobs, they had to blend houses, or they decided the stress was too much and they broke it. So every couple starts their relationship with a commitment to work, and these tools just help make it a healthy and fulfilling one. And one of the greatest parts of this program is it lets them know the danger signs that can lead to stress in the relationship, cause it to break down, or cause a situation that might not be beneficial anymore for the children. When children are in a home that has a good foundation and can really help them thrive, they turn around into their own community, do great in success in schools, and like, I think, Andrew? Come and stay in their city of choice for 46 years, if you have the adequate supports and people to talk to. So what the program is about is communication skills, but really it goes more than that. It teaches them conflict resolution and management. We talk about stress and anger management too. That can be the reason why there's arguments sometimes in between couples or parents, stressing out. We talked about the different love styles, because if I love getting flowers, that's amazing. But if my partner likes to be with me and talk to me and encourage me, that's a way of showing love too. I just got to recognize when they're trying to do that, so there is a connection, rather than saying, well, they never bought me flowers, So we also do additional parenting education for free. We use evidence-based services for those who are between 6 and 12, or if they have a teenager or adolescent, because that's a different type of relationship that they can have with their kid too. We do the individualized coaching, so while they learn the workshops the tools in the workshops, we coach them on the side. So it's additional times we meet with them that we can also do case management if they do need linkage to additional community resources. We also have a partnership with Job Centers of America and Kathy Bank and Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles County. So if they do need, I really love our family and I really like where I'm staying, but my job is just not supporting what we need to. Well, hey, why don't we work on your resume? Why don't we practice some interviews? Maybe it's a legal stressor that, you know what, we're facing eviction and we would love to stay in San Gabriel. We just can't seem to afford it. We just don't know what to do. Well, hey, there's workshops that can tell you what's available to you as a family here, or into Pasadena or into Pomona. And then we also do financial literacy and planning, because then that also sometimes stresses you out, and you're like, I'd love to go on a date and I'd love to do something else, but I barely have enough for food at home. I barely have enough to cover daycare. So what would be some ways to planning in the future that adds some fun, adds healthy relationships, and makes it more beneficial and a healthy family? So the eligibility is really simple too. Couples can be in a committed relationship and are ages 18 and over and have a child under 18, or again, individuals who are 18 and over and have a child under 18, and just live in the San Gabriel or Pomona Valley. So as far up as Montrose and La Cañada, or as far east as Ontario and Upland, we can cover all that space in between. And then the benefits from the program, if people would be interested, so whether they're in the professional realm, whether they just got together, if they just want to sharpen the relationship skills to continue building on that partnership, if they're experiencing stressors and they're like, I just don't know how to resolve this problem, couples who are even thinking of separating, or they're just like, I don't know what it is that we need to do different, but there's something that has to change. Or individuals, again, who just want a better foundation for a current relationship or a future relationship. And if they want to contact us, they can just call our intake department. The flyers that are included in the PowerPoint, I think that you guys are going to show later, or the flyers that you have in front of you, if you scan the QR code, it takes you to our landing page on our website. And let's say they get out at work at 6 o'clock. Wow, this is a great thing. I would love to, but every time I call, I get the message to leave a message or something. Well, if they leave their information on our landing page, we can get to them directly. And like myself, I'm working tonight. I work on Saturdays, and if it better fits to give them a call later on, we will reach out to them at a time that's more beneficial to actually ask them the questions or answer some questions that they have. So it's a great program. It's interesting, it's fun, and participants who enroll, because we're doing the classes virtually, because it does have a little more flexibility for parents to be in the home, take a break in between 10 minutes and be able to attend to their children. They turn off their phone, they turn off their computer, and they're home. Or allows us to do the workshops on Saturdays. The money that we would kind of spend on snacks and coffee, we're turning around and just giving it to them. So if participants do complete the first primary series, which is that couples education, then we give them a gift card for participating. So it's like, oh, well, we did this couples workshop. Now we have this little gift card to maybe go to Target, buy a little snack, and have a little picnic. Would you guys happen to have any questions?
I think we'll let you finish your presentation, and then we'll go through and ask questions if that's okay with the rest of the commission.
Thank you so much, Commission. My name is Erin Copeland. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I wanted to talk to you guys about two programs today, our Relative Support Services Program and our Elder Support Program. Both those flyers are in the packet in front of you, and I apologize I didn't have my slides available in time. Let's talk first about our kinship program, which is our Relative Support Services. So I brought some data for you guys because I am a big nerd about data. So perusing DCFS's website this afternoon, I just wanted to give you guys some information. So when we think about relative caregivers, we're talking about grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, neighbors, raising children in our neighborhoods, in our communities, rather than those children being in foster care. So as of September, 11,425 children were in out-of-home placement, but placed with relative. That's out of 16,239 total in the month of September. So relative caregiving made up 70% of the child placements in September alone. So the presentation today to the commission is kind of an ask to spread the word about this amazing program, because Foothill Family, through Relative Support Services, offers help and equity to those caregivers to keep those kids placed at home, a home that they've known either their whole lives or a home they just got familiar with, but is still family. Kinship Support Services is an in-home support program. So we come to them and we service all of the San Gabriel through Pomona Valley. So my team of family support specialists, we go into the home, we assess for needs, we ask them what they need to keep these kids here, to keep them safe, and we provide either direct service or access. This means mental health, parenting, and then that equity piece. Do they need bunk beds? Do the kids need clothing? Sometimes those kids are placed with just the clothing on their back. So do they need back to school clothing? Do they need help with advocacy, legal guardianship, navigating the kinship system? I've been in it 5 years now, and I still learn something new every week. So it's difficult. So we just wanted to let you guys know this program is here. To qualify, they just have to live in our service area, so all of San Gabriel residents qualify. They have to have a child placed with them that's under the age of 21, and either be an informal placement, which means their son or daughter said, please take care of my child, and they knew this child prior to placement. This isn't for foster parents who were strangers to that child. This is for children who knew this caregiver, this provider. They have to know the provider, live in our area, and again, the child has to be under the age of 21. Those are the only requirements. They do not have to be DCFS impacted, and we do not report them to DCFS if they come and ask for support. Families who aren't going through a continuum of care reform, RFA process to get home approved, have very limited monies available to them to support that child. Normally it's DPSS, non-needy caregiver funds, which is very little money. So Foothill Family is being contracted by DCFS to offer support. DCFS only had 2 kinship centers in all of the area, one in LA, in like Crenshaw, and one, I think, in West Covina. So a lot of service area, but people would have to come to those centers to get help, and they provide amazing help. So DCFS decided that's not enough. If 50% of these homes have relative care in it, they needed help. So Foothill Family has been contracted to do this grant for the past 5 years, and we've learned a lot about our community and what their needs are. We're also establishing a kinship advocacy work group so kinship providers can tell us what they need rather than us assume. So our flyer is in your packet. We would really love help spreading the word that we're out here. If they don't qualify for our program, that's okay. Our intake department will help them, help link them to services that can assist. So please just tell one person, and that one person tells one person, and exponentially we're helping more caregivers. My last grant, and again, I'll be quick because I know we've taken a lot of your time this evening, is our Elder Support Services grant. So my kinship grant helps kids. My elder grant helps seniors, our silent generations and our boomers, who are becoming our largest population. So much kind of gets thrown at seniors as they get into later years. Independent living is a very important goal for seniors. So our Elder Abuse and Treatment Program is a federal-based program that helps seniors get assistance if they've been harmed by caregivers, harmed by scammers. You guys, if I could do a whole thing on like sweetheart scams and the fraud emails that go through. We've been phished, right? We all know what that's like to be hacked, and imagine what that's like for a senior who's not very tech savvy, who doesn't know what to do, or our seniors who are isolated and need support. So Foothill Family has a senior program. We partner with APS and other multidisciplinary teams, police departments, and we provide support to the seniors who identify as being hurt, either through self-neglect or financial abuse. We link them to legal advocacy and support. We help get them to safety, and then try to help them live as independently as possible for as long as possible. We get calls from community centers, senior centers. Our flyers are everywhere. We're trying to get just the word out to any senior who might need help. Now, our program name is Elder Abuse Treatment and Support, and that name alone kind of makes everyone like step back, because no one wants to report that their family's hurting them or that their kids who are caring for them now are hurting them, and that's okay. But we just want seniors to know that there is help. There is support out there if they need it, and we're just a phone call away. And support sometimes needs to take the form that they want it. So, you know, in terms of eligibility, they just need to be 60 or older and tell us that they've been hurt in some way, or say that they've been scammed in some way. And then we can start providing in-home supportive services, mental health services, linkage to support groups, linkage to lawyers and legal services, free. All of our programs at Foothill are free, and not Medi-Cal, Medicare, Medi-Medi. None of that matters for our programs because of our funding. So they can get access quickly and for free. So we just wanted to let you guys know about that. Our intake department phone number is for all of our programs, even our school-based programs. So clients can access that number there and get help with anything they might need. All they gotta do is give us a problem. I need this, and Foothill will be able to either help them directly or link them. Again, thank you so much for your time this evening. We really appreciate you, and the mission that the HERE Committee stands for is very meaningful to Foothill, so thank you again.
Thank you, Erin and Melissa. Those are amazing programs. I'm sure we have several questions, so we'll start on this end. We'll start on this end.
Thank you so much for being here and for, just doing the work that you all do. I had questions about the PAIRS program. So is this kind of trial period just for a certain amount of time?
Well, the grant has been approved for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So we will be the representative for the San Gabriel Pomona Valley, and the next closest one is in San Diego, and the one after that is in Florida. If the grant provides enough services where there is a quality of change, if cities partner up and they feel like this is an adequate service for their residents, then the grant will continue, and then we'll be able to hopefully have it in different areas, in different spots. So we really pushed hard to include individual parents, because when we were doing the outreach, when we were doing the presentation, so like, I would love to know how to not get into the problems that I did in my past relationship, but I just don't know how. And so we pushed for that for about a year. It was approved, and we got the approval at the end of August. We were trained in the new evidence-based curriculum, and we already have parents that are participating in September. So within a month, we were able to have that eligibility really benefit the communities. And so far, they're saying that it's great. Instead of having a couples activity where we put them on mute or we put them in a separate room so they can talk about their issues or how the tool can possibly help them, individually, they're able to talk in a group, like, this is what has helped for me, this is what self-care I do for myself, or there's space to journal on how they feel like it can help them. And if they have any questions, their family support specialist is there to meet with them on a different day that benefits them. I also have,
I think we have 3 more years of our current grant.
Okay.
we give each participant their own package that has activity books and has like the shortcut keys, and then kind of reminds them of what the danger flags are, so they can put it on the refrigerator if it feels beneficial. So we give them all this, a notebook, pens and everything. Anything that they need, we'll have. If it's just focusing on their parenting role that they need support with, then that's afterwards we'll do the parenting classes, and we connect them to family-friendly events that come on, like for the holidays. I'm like, did you know San Gabriel has a backpack event? Did you know that they do a festival here? Do you know that they close down the street and they have a health fair? Like, just connecting them to their own community so that they can also grow their support system.
And is there like a maximum for how big the workshops are?
Well, we continue to enroll, and we'll do continued enrollment. So let's say they interview, and the next class won't be up for like 3 weeks, or let's say we have about 12 couples participating. Then we also have different facilitators that can do dual workshops. So, for example, we have 3 workshops running on Saturday at 8 a.m., at 12 p.m., and at 3 p.m., either in English or in Spanish. So if that one doesn't work, by the time they finish their enrollment, we drop off the material. It's usually about 3 weeks. And if no one kind of fits their time frame, you know, for example, I have somebody that we're doing that workshop starting on Saturday from 12 because they work 10 hours a day and they really want to participate. But Saturday's the only day that they get off like at 11 a.m. So it's like, well, then we'll meet with you. And they'll be the only one in that workshop, but at least it's available to them.
So about 12 couples max?
So about 12 couples, so that would be 24 people in a workshop. And then the workshop can take as little as 2 people.
And does everybody get individualized coaching as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So if they want it, and sometimes we'll ask them, do you want any help or do you want any other information? And they'll be like, no. Okay, so then we'll check midway. You doing okay? Yep. And then they're like, we're really interested in the parenting classes though, because that's sometimes where the brunt of the problems come from. And they're like, okay, well that series is going to begin as soon as you finish this one.
All right, thank you so much. That's it for me.
Just thank you for your work to our community. Yes, and I don't have any questions.
I want to thank you for coming tonight. This is very, very interesting. I do have a question on the kinship support services.
Sure.
If you work with, have a family member that is developmentally disabled,
Yes.
lots of times when they turn 21, they still need ongoing care. Now, I know your services only go up to age 21. Do you make an exception for those individuals?
That is a great question. So if we have a dependent adult, they would actually qualify for our elder abuse program. So if they're in kinship care up to 21, they could get kinship services. And then once that child aged out, they could get the elder support program. So we could continue to support that child as long as we had that grant. And even if we didn't have that grant, we have community partners who could assist us to keep that family safe.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that was a great question. Sorry I didn't mention that.
Thank you again. As I said, it's a number of amazing programs, and I think the PAIRS program is so important right now. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so that fits perfectly with keeping people knowledgeable about services that are available and free, importantly, to them. So thank you for letting us know about that. I was going to ask Matthew if maybe we can put our elder abuse flyer in our meal distribution, as a way to get it to our seniors. If we can maybe distribute it that way, that would be great, because it sounds like all of your programs are the more people participate in them, the more likely they are to continue to be funded. So we really want to support you with that. My question is, have you seen an uptick or an increase in request and demand for mental health services over the last couple of years, and have you been able to accommodate that increase?
I appreciate that question too. Yes, Foothill Family has seen an increase in mental health referrals since the pandemic, especially in our children under the age of 18. Foothill triaged out the most important cases first, but as of right now, we do not have a wait list for mental health services. I think we did really good at getting through the triage, the most important, but then circling back to those who still needed that assistance. And if we couldn't help them immediately, it was linking them to community programs that we partner with or that we heard about. Our intake department's amazing. But yes, we've been able to meet the demand, and as of today, because I just asked about another client, we have no wait list for mental health services.
Thank you. That's important to know.
I just want to echo everyone here and thank you so much for the incredible services. It's, as our chair mentioned, really important at this time, but I think it has been. And the pandemic and other factors have just sort of elevated what has been happening. So really appreciate you sharing this information. We're going to do our best to help spread the word, to let people know that this is available to them. And one thing that I think you already answered my question as well about the size of the pairs workshops. I think it's really amazing that you are so flexible to work with people around their schedule, because I know that that's really a deterrent for a lot of people who have a lot of different responsibilities. So thank you so much for doing that. And, you know, even running a workshop with just 2 couples is really great. And I think the smaller size will also help people feel more comfortable in sharing. So thank you for all of your efforts.
We have opened it to in-person with safety measures in facilities, but when we offer the class to be in-person or virtual, it seems like 100% of the time they're saying virtual. But if you guys ever want to do a partnership in the future to have an in-person workshop, we can do that as well. You would let us know the maximum capacity that we can have in a room or so. We would do a COVID checklist to make sure that we can keep the participants safe. And then we would bring the materials and give it to them. And something also for the individual healthy relationship classes that I forgot to mention is that sometimes they might still be in a relationship where there is domestic violence. And so we'll ask them, do you want to take this material home, or would you rather us hold it? Because we wouldn't want to put them in a situation where they're writing thoughts down and would put them, jeopardize their safety. Like, what are you talking about in this right here? Well, if we keep it, or if we just give them a blank journal so that they can codify in a way that they can keep safe, but actually use some of the techniques or the tools. The point is just, again, being in that healthy relationship or learning what you can do that is a healthy standard for yourself.
It's great, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming, and we really appreciate it. Couple of questions, actually. One being for the in-person. I understand that you get a lot of people that want to do it online, but when we're talking about seniors, now that I'm pretty sure you have a very minimal amount of seniors that were actually even have a computer possibly, right, or know how to use a computer. I would like to see something for the seniors here in San Gabriel and in person for the seniors, and not just wait until they get abused, but some sort of seminar to prevent them. Because I saw some documentary, and I think you mentioned the stories that you had with experience with fraud and people calling and spam, and I think they're the easiest people to, from the documentary that I saw, they're the easiest people to get scammed, and a lot of money comes out of their pockets, and they're just lonely, and that's part of why they get scammed, because these people are professional at talking to them and just listening to them, and then here they are, they think they got a friend, and here you go, let me send you all my savings, and then you find them in a place where they can't get out of the hole now, and they're already doing bad as it was, but maybe some program here in the city of San Gabriel where we can educate them before they get abused. I think that would be really crucial, and I don't know if that falls under your educational seminars. Would that fall under that?
It does, yeah. We just started a senior scams education workshop. The closest we have to San Gabriel is our Pasadena Senior Center, but we would be open to doing that in your community, and it gives them information on how to catch emails, looking at the address of that email. It talks about sweetheart scams, and all of that's from the Department of Aging. We were just at a multidisciplinary team meeting today, just stating about how important seniors need to be educated on these scams. So I agree with you. There needs to be more support for them. So we have been offering those workshops. And we could send flyers if you guys would like that, if the commission would like that. And we would be open to also servicing your community with those workshops if you were interested.
Yeah, we have facilities here. It would be awesome to have something here local. I mean, if the commission would, well, I guess we'll have to plan it out or something, right? Thank you for that information. I got two more things. With regard to the health, mental health, and you mentioned that the kids or the youth under 18, they were the most impacted. Do we have the numbers of what was the leading causes?
Suicide attempt and suicidal ideation has been, like major depressive disorder has been what we're seeing the most. that and anxiety. And it's situational around returning to school. It's also just the impact of COVID and mortality and all those existential questions young people don't normally ask themselves but had to. A lot of grief and loss. But depression seems to be what we're treating the most currently. I unfortunately don't have that data with me, I'm sorry. But it would be something we could provide the commission through email if you would like that, because we do track outcomes in that way.
Right, and just to, thank you for that. And just to be more particular, I mean, we'd like to see if you have it. If you have it, right, we don't want to have you work extra. If you have the numbers in general for the area you cover, and more specific in the city of San Gabriel, numbers for our community. So thank you. And then the last question, with regards to family and youth recreation activities, what activities do you provide for, mostly for the youth?
So we don't provide them directly, we provide linkage, but we've paid for boxing classes, daycare, summer camps, just daycare in general. I'm trying to think of all my Rolodex of things we've bought children. Usually the caregivers will tell us they need some time outside of the home. So we'll look for after-school programs, we'll look for special community events, and we will pay for those events so those children can attend.
And this is not based on, and you mentioned it, just to clarify, this is not based on income. This is
No.
based on the money that we've received through the county or through the state, right?
Right, the caregiver monies, we do try to focus on the ones that have the least amount of support. So like our legal guardians or our probate families who went directly to court to take kind of custody of those children, they don't qualify for any money. So we try to prioritize them, but we also use some of that financial support for the caregivers that are KinGap or going through DCFS. But really, it just means they need to have less than $500 or $1,000 a month after bills are paid. So it's a very easy threshold to meet. And if the caregiver says that this little kiddo needs ballet class, we will pay for ballet class.
That's wonderful. So it's not really like a program for, like the established program is not there, it's whatever they need, a particular tailored to
Right.
every individual, right?
Yeah, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We figured they already know what the kiddos are interested in and what's in their community, so we follow their lead as to what would be best. And then through our needs assessment that we do, we kind of offer suggestions. Like, it sounds like tutoring might also be something they need assistance with. Here are some tutoring programs, or we can even offer that directly ourselves.
And for the record, it's just, can any kid qualify? I know you said you're in a prioritize, right? So
If
can
they
any
live
kid
in
qualify?
If they live in San Gabriel
They can
and they're
qualify.
living with grandma, but their mom or dad is not in the home, then we can help them. All they have to do is call. They don't have to have DCFS involvement. They just have to say, hey, I'm auntie, I'm grandma, or I'm even neighbor. We have principals who have kids, neighbors, godparents who took on kiddos. All they gotta do is call and say, I've got this kid, I've had this kid for a couple months, I need help. And we'll connect them to RSS, our Relative Support Service.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Melissa. And I think Commissioner Herrera made a really good point that we need to put a star by for, we're going to be discussing our annual work plan for next year. And so putting something like a partnership with Foothill Family to provide those senior abuse prevention classes, or maybe the PAIRS, course through community services might be a good recommendation from the HERE Commission. So thank you so much again for being here.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
I have a question. Can I ask a question? I noticed you have English and Spanish. Do they offer anything in like Cantonese or Mandarin?
So right now, we have therapists that offer that language that can help us assist, yes. But I don't have direct staff currently that speak that language. But we're always looking for the needs of the community, and then we have staff that can provide that. So it just means borrowing a therapist from another program and having them come with us to help make sure that they're comfortable in the language that they need.
And just because if you're not on the mic, you can't hear it on the
sorry.
YouTube, that's okay. So I'm just going to paraphrase, but that there was a question from the audience concerning services in Cantonese or Mandarin. And while those weren't specifically stated, there are therapists available who can facilitate those sessions in those languages. So
Yes.
just call the intake line.
And that's a great point, actually.
It is,
I'm
yeah.
glad that it was brought up. And not only that language, we also have Vietnamese here in this community and people that are from different walks and from everywhere, right? And I'm sure you can arrange something, right?
Yes.
But how do we get that information out to them? Do you have it in different languages, or probably the website has an icon, right? Your website doesn't have an
Yeah.
icon where you could translate in any language?
So the wonderful thing of switching over to virtual classes is that there's the interpreter feature on Zoom. And so I, as a facilitator, I'm bilingual in English and Spanish, but not in Tagalog. So if we have the need of a participant or a couple that needs that service in that language, or there's interest to doing the workshop in Vietnamese, we can partner with a therapist, and while I speak in English, they're giving the information in that language, and then they can hold the questions and let me know so that I can focus in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And just to clarify that, I'm sorry, just to clarify, the website has a translation function where you can translate into all the languages?
My understanding is yes.
So if you go at the top of our www.foothillfamily.org, it has the languages that you can select, and it'll translate that information. Same thing for the pairs landing page. If you need to switch over to a different language, it'll show you that information.
Thank you.
So we will now move on to another excellent presentation. And this is our guest speaker from the Asian Youth Center. And I'm going to ask Vice Chair Goto to introduce her.
Thank you so much, Heidi Lau from the Asian Youth Center, which is a wonderful partner and trusted nonprofit in the city of San Gabriel. She was at our Mental Wellness Expo, and we're pleased to have her here to discuss one of her agency's programs. So Heidi, it's all you.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, all the commissioner, for having me to present the steering committee opportunity tonight. So I'm Heidi, and I'm handling the Stop Hate program at Asian Youth Center. And before I share the steering committee opportunity, I would like to share the background of anti-hate and also some statistics. So during the pandemic, as many of us know that the anti-Asian hate crime and hate incident arise across the U.S. and also in the San Gabriel Valley. And for the LA County Commission on Human Relations report, there are 44 anti-Asian hate crime reported in LA County in 2020. And also for the report from Stop AAPI Hate, there are 290 anti-Asian hate incidents reported in the San Gabriel Valley in 2020 and 21. And also for the survey, we partner with Asian American Advancing Justice that we conducted last year. 31% of SGV respondents respond that their family or themselves experience racial discrimination since COVID-19 outbreak. And the number is not only for the Asian American AAPI community. There are also some hate in numbers for the Black community members and also the Latinx community members. So for the reported from the LA County Commission on Human Relations, 35% increase in anti-Black hate crime in LA County since 2020, and 58% increase in anti-Latinx hate crime. And overall, there are 30% increase in hate crime in the U.S. since 2021. So to respond to the surge in anti-Asian hate, AYC has has a Stop Hate program starting from last year, and we are focusing on different aspects to combat hate. We have working on community outreach and engagement and education. Also, we partner with some local artists to have some public art display and mural at the office at the Asian Youth Center. And also, we are hosting bystander intervention training and APR renewal space. And also for the youth development, we also have the youth-led research and advocacy. So for community outreach, and from November 2021, where we have started the program, to June 2022, we have attended around 28 events in total in the community to educating people the elements of hate crime and hate incident, how to report and the service for survivors, and the rights of survivors among the residents in the SGV. And also, we would like to share some highlights of the community events that we have held. And in the month of May, we have partnered with some community group to host some self-defense workshop. So we have partnered with a community group of called Break Free, and to host a self-defense workshop at the Smith Park to educate people to how to defend themselves and share them some techniques. And at that event, we have around 53 people at all ages to attend the event. And also, we have partnered with local artists, with Mary Naomi to have a comic mural at our AYC building. And as you can see, the mural is about, you can see the message here: together we are stronger and stop anti-Asian hate. And we would like to share the idea that we would like to share the idea that AYC is here in the community to help the community members to combat Asian hate. And also starting from this year, and me and other community member, Florence Lin, who is also our community relations manager at Asian Youth Center, we have been hosting bystander intervention training in language, in Cantonese and Mandarin, and also English in the community to educate people to know as a bystander how can they intervene when they witness hate crime and hate incidents safely. Also, starting from this month, we have a program called API Renewal Space. We're partnering with Pacific Asian Counseling Services and to host some healing circle or as well as API Renewal Space. And this is a healing circle or space for people and to share their experience and also their feeling about anti-API hate in a space that we share our empathy and listening to each other with empathy. And also for youth development, last year we have the YPLD student, youth and parent leadership development student. They create their button and also some flyer to combat hate. And also we have some youth intern to conduct some phone banking for the SGV Stop Hate Committee survey. And last year, Asian Youth Center have reached 4,871 community members to receive Stop Hate resources, whistle, and hate crime reporting booklet in the community. We also trained 130 people for bystander intervention training. Also on social media, we have educating people about the message of anti-hate, and we have reached 52,000 people from last year. So for this year, we have a brand new program called AYC Stop Hate Steering Committee. So this is a proverb I would like to share. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. All right, so this steering committee goals is to increase the awareness of increasing the wave of hate and help to promote the diversity in the San Gabriel Valley. We would also like to have the steering committee to provide their input and also perspective in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Also, and for this steering committee, we would like to support free news or existing community effort, such as grassroots community groups or community-based projects. And the role for the steering committee is to provide idea and input and also assist in the implementation of community support project or involve others to support the implementation. And lastly, we will, for this steering committee, we will have bi-weekly meeting either on Zoom or in person. And the meeting guideline will be create a shared dialogue between the committee members and also gather input and idea on potential solution, also develop objective and plan to support the committee needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heidi, very much. So we'll again start with some questions, and we'll start on this end this time.
So thank you to the Asian Youth Center for all that you're doing in the community, first of all.
Thank you, Judge.
Can we go back to the beginning where you showed some numbers
Yes.
of the hate ratio or of the hate percentages?
Yes.
The next one, I believe that's
okay.
where you had that one right there. So one number that stands out to me, being part of the Hispanic or Latino, however you want to call, you know, now we're being called Latinx, or 58% increase.
Yes,
right?
right.
I mean, hate is across the board on everybody, with everybody right now. If you can see the anti-Black, anti-Latino, X, and Asian. So with that said, I think we should also consider having these seminars in Spanish for our Latino community, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure how many people are showing up that are Hispanic or Latino to the self-defense. I'm not sure if you have the numbers of how many. Maybe later if you can have that or provide that for us. I'm just trying to figure out how we can also engage our community, everybody in the community, right?
Right.
Because obviously my community in particular is facing a lot, 58% increase. That's significant, right? With that said, that's pretty much just the only one thing. If we can figure out what would be a recommendation, figure out how to get the Hispanics out, not only those that are speaking Mandarin or Cantonese, right? Because we need to work together, right? To understand, hey, we have an
Yes.
issue. And if we are just pocketing people here and then just siloing people, I think it's more important to bring everybody together, you
Right.
know, more inclusivity. Okay, that's just my only recommendation. Thank you.
Yeah, so, yeah, thank you for your input. This is something that recall my, there is a steering committee member also sharing similar input about creating unity and solidarity among the races in the SGV. So definitely for this steering committee group, we want to include different races other than AAPI. We are making effort to include Black community member, Latinx, and also mainstream community member as well. And also for the Spanish aspect for the Stop Defend class, that's definitely something that we can work on. Currently, our program is hiring a community outreach worker who is able to speak Spanish. So this is something that we want to work on for the Latinx community.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the information. That's really good. I'm glad that they're trying to get somebody to speak Spanish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for not only your presentation, but the leadership that AYC has shown during this time. I know that you guys were one of the first right out the door to address the rising incidents of hate against AAPI community. And I see that you have intentionally, I know that some of the organizations are Stop AAPI Hate. You have intentionally broadened that to include everyone with the Stop Hate Steering Committee. My question, what kind of individuals are you looking for on the steering committee? Do you have, it sounds like you already are in process, your steering committee is meeting.
Yes.
So are you looking then to diversify your
Yes.
membership? And who is it that you're looking from the community to step up and help with these efforts?
So we are looking for all ages and different identity and races. So in this steering committee group, I would like to have more people from different culture and also different races. We have already started the steering committee this month already, and the majority of the folks are API. We also have some folks who are Latino and also Black community member and also the mainstream community member. But we also want to invite more from different culture.
Is there an application process, or how are you selecting people, or how do you want people to reach out to you if they have interest?
I forgot to put my email on the slides. Sorry about that. So definitely I can share the flyer and also the application links after this meeting. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate all this information, and again, all the work that Asian Youth Center has done throughout COVID with, the many areas that you have worked in with vaccines and meals and, just all those resources for our city. So kind of similar to what people are saying, certainly I understand the concentration on empowering our Asian community to report these crimes and to be proactive, because San Gabriel is 70% Asian, but I do also agree in broadening that to a larger population. And the Los Angeles County does have a commission also on human relations, and they put out their 2020 hate crime kind of summary. And I just want to give people a few kind of key points from that summary to again, just reinforce what Commissioner Herrera, Commissioner Godo have said in terms of this being a very broad problem. The biggest problem is just underreporting, and hopefully what AYC has done for this community is to really empower everyone to report these types of crimes, because these numbers really just don't capture what's going on.
Right.
There were only 635 hate crimes, that were reported in 2020. So when someone says there's a 76% increase in hate crime reporting for the Asian community, it was because there were only like 20 reported before, and now we're reporting, 60.
Right.
It still is not capturing what is going on. But in terms of those numbers, once again, African Americans are the largest groups of victims and represent 42% of hate crimes, while we only represent 9% of the community. So again, overrepresented, not really represented here in terms of those numbers, and particularly overrepresented in terms of victims of sexual orientation and anti-transgender crimes. So that's something I would also ask AYC to maybe include in their steering committee, as someone from those communities, because they are also seen an increase in terms of hate crimes, our LGBTQ plus community. As was pointed out, our anti-Latino crimes went up 58%. But again, we're talking about from 67 to 106 reporting. Clearly, there's more than that going on, but people just need to report it. And we also spoke about our anti-Asian hate, our anti-AAPI hate crimes. So thank you again for really getting the word out there, for empowering people to report these crimes. And can you just maybe briefly tell anyone who feels like they have been the victim of a hate crime, what would be the best way to go about reporting that?
Yes, so for reporting, there are two ways. If you're physically injured, please don't hesitate to call 911 for the support. And if you experience hate incident, which is verbal slur, verbal harassment, and you can go to Stop AAPI Hate website and report the hate incident, or you can dial 211 for assistance for the hate incidents.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Heidi, for being here.
Thank you, Susan.
AYC is growing just like everybody else. And I know when you first started here in the community, you were a smaller organization. And as the need compounded, you were growing larger and larger. And we appreciate your partnership. But as all of us are learning, the world is changing.
Yes.
And we have to be able to grow and change with the population and to address all of these. And it sounds like you're getting a handle on it. I know it is a growing process and it's sometimes slow. We want it to move a lot faster, but it looks like, you know, you're addressing it, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you again for Asian Youth Center for always servicing our students at Gabrielino and for the servicing our community as well.
Thank you.
Hi, Heidi. Thanks for being here and for sharing about what's going on at AYC. I guess my question is just a little more general about how people can find out more about upcoming events or things that you guys are putting on in the community. And if you're continuing the bystander trainings and self-defense classes and other things.
Yeah, so we have been updating the bystander training and also other events like API renewal space on social media. So if anyone interested, please go on to our social media or our website to look for our upcoming events. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Since we're talking about hate,
Yes.
and I hate to go back, get like a back road, I forgot the name, I'm not gonna be witty. Okay, I was trying, but I failed. Okay. Do we happen to know, for example, like, we don't have the white community there. Do we know if they're experiencing hate as well? Because I want to be fair across the board. That would be an interesting number to see if, because of everything that's happening, if they're experiencing any hate. I would like to see that numbers. I don't know if you have them, or if you can provide them, or else I can just look them up. But that, and then also if the homeless population, have they been attacked or experiencing any hate? But being homeless, probably, I don't want to talk for them, but they'll probably have a harder time reporting something like that.
So I don't know if they would fall under hate crime, just in terms of the definition of hate crime. I don't think if someone was being attacked purely on the basis of them being unhoused, it would have to have something to do with their race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, gender, to fall under the heading of hate crime. So I'm sure we've all heard in the news about attacks on unhoused individuals, but I don't think they fall under this category.
So, yeah, mainly, I would like to see the number also for the white population. I just want to see if we're seeing an increase as well.
Right. Thank you for the question. So I don't have that number right now. Yes. But yeah.
I can look it up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi.
you.
Yeah, we really appreciate you being here and certainly welcome you back for an update next year once the steering committee gets underway. And please do provide that information on how people can
Yes.
apply to the steering committee.
Sure, definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everyone.
So we will move now to our we're going to move now to 4C, which is discussion of our approved 2022 annual work plan. So Matthew's going to give us an update on our 2022 work plan, and specifically, we will be focusing tonight on the engagement survey. So Matthew, do we have any public comments on this discussion item?
We do not, unless there's anyone present that has a public comment. We do not.
Thank you. So Matthew, if you could, I don't know if you wanted to say a few words about the engagement survey to start us off?
Sure. So in the packet, we do have the final engagement survey. I've closed it. We're done. We made it to the end. So congratulations here, Commission. It is complete. You have all of your results in. I do want to note that it is a thicker packet than in the last version. One, because we've received quite a few responses. It looks like most questions received 265 responses. And then you're also getting more pages because there's 3 questions that have a free written open response to it. So all of those responses are included. If you're looking for staff to provide additional analysis, just let us know. So as far as like how many people responded with a particular open response, let's say, we can definitely do that analysis, but it's not included in here. It's just what SurveyMonkey has provided for you today.
Thank you. So, and I want to thank Commissioner Borja and Commissioner Godo, who started this out almost at the beginning of the year. So we have forgotten to thank them along the way, but thank you for doing this. And initially, we were directing this towards our youth. And I think what the survey results show is that the majority of respondents were in that category of under 18, certainly. So we did manage to reach that population. When I looked through the survey results, just kind of big take-homes for me were that almost 40% of those who answered the survey haven't attended any major city events in the last 3 years. Now, that may be a COVID phenomenon. We just asked about the last 3 years, so it would have been the 3 years ago when they attended one, but that was significant. Major concerns were mental health, cultural awareness, homelessness, racial discrimination, and poverty and economic opportunities were areas that they would like the city to focus on, and that Instagram and the city's website were the most common ways that they stated that they wanted to get information. So those were things that I took home that we might be able to use as we plan in our 2023 work plan. And now we'll just, if anyone has any comments, you can just signal.
I think we might owe one more incentive item. I think we were supposed to do one at National Night Out, but there was a glitch on something with the survey. So I don't think, because we were raffling off so many things at the Mental Wellness Expo, I don't think we got to this one. So we may need just one random person to who responded so that we have can close out the incentive items too. Okay.
Would you suggest that we just pull it and contact them, or would you want to do it at one of, we have 2 upcoming events. We have Fall Family Fest, our Family Fall Festival, and we have the Dia de los Muertos, are both in October.
Since the survey is closed and there's really not an opportunity for anyone else to submit, I think we should just pull it and contact them because it's likely we don't know if they'll be at any of those events. So that would be my suggestion.
Is that something we need to vote on, or can we just be in consensus about it?
Unless anyone has any objections, staff will just go ahead and do a random selection and award it to that person.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brenha?
With the addition of the new survey responses, I did notice that there are quite a few references to having Pride or LGBTQ plus events.
Just, so Matthew, you said staff is gonna do the raffle. Is there any way that we can do it here live? I know there's like a way to put it in the program and it could come out on the screen.
We could. It would take additional time out of the next meeting, but it would need to take place at one of the next meetings. So you'd be essentially waiting a month to award it to that individual.
I think it would be a little bit more fun if we can see it on the screen.
So can I make maybe a compromise if they pull it and notify the person, but we announce it at the next meeting?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I know, I get what you're saying in
It's pretty
terms of
much the
fun, but
same,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if.
It's not exactly a raffle like we did where they were pulling, it's more like a random
Yeah.
selection on the computer. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't, I don't think it'll have the
won't.
same effect as our,
Yeah, yeah, it won't take that long, right? Well, you just have to drop the names in there, right?
Yeah, so I would have to
And
export.
then just
that,
click.
and then-
How many people we have?
What was that?
200 and.
265, it looks like.
So my suggestion, so as not to burden the community services staff with another project, even though it's small, would be just for them to make a random drawing, notify the person, so we don't have to wait until the end of November, because that's our next meeting, and then we announce the meeting, the person at our next meeting, just so we can acknowledge them in our meeting. There are now 2 suggestions on the table, so if anyone has a third or has a feeling about that.
I think I'd like to just go ahead and pull it because I think we originally were supposed to do it
Waiting
in
for a long
August.
time.
Yeah. So that would be my preference, but I think we can announce it just in case, and also just to close it out so people know we did.
I'm fine with that. I just wanted to make it a little bit more fun. Maybe next time around, if we can do it like that, set it up that way. In lieu of time, I don't think it takes that long. Just drop the numbers, drop all the names in the program, and then boop, click of a button. But we can do that next time, maybe. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and what we noticed as well is that a lot of people are putting either fictitious names or not putting a name. So it's just an email that you'd be announcing potentially at the next meeting. The example is the first winner. That wasn't necessarily their actual name. So just something to keep in mind. But
think
we
it could-
can keep that in mind for the
It could definitely be something where we can increase viewership, right? They're just do it something like in the beginning of the meeting and have people tune in to see who's gonna win. Create a little bit of a community, or like a little bit of pride, like an actual event, and that they have to be here or something. No, but maybe I'm doing too much. If they have to be there, then we have everybody here for the raffle, and then we'll present them the raffle. Just an idea for next time.
Are there any more comments or observations about the survey or questions, ways you think we can use it? Anything?
I think we can definitely take a look at the suggestions. Just in a preliminary look, I think there were some really good suggestions for our next year's work plan to take into consideration.
One additional note before you move past this one. The Community Services Commission has requested the final results of the survey, so we'll be providing the same packet to them at the November meeting, which is next week.
Great, thank you. So that will give them a heads up maybe on how we might like to partner with them in the coming year. So this is also our time for our 2022 just annual work plan general discussion. I did have one item that I asked Matthew if he could give us an update for. November is going to be Native American Heritage Month, and so we do have a video that we started working on about a year ago. So Matthew's going to give us an update on that.
So as I know it seems like forever ago, so I apologize, but to refresh, the community services staff, along with Commissioner Brenha and Chair Jennings, put together a video for and Commissioner Khan, thank you.
Commissioner Khan.
Commissioner Khan, thank you. That's how long it's been. Put together a video in celebration of Native American Heritage Month. It's gone through quite a few rounds of edits, and then unfortunately it was sitting on my desk, so I apologize. But it has since gone out to Commissioner Brenha. I do need to send it to Commissioner Khan now, so thank you for the reminder. And then Chair Jennings, and then also Chair Lubasich from the Cultural Resource and Historical Preservation Commission, just to get some additional thoughts before it goes to the two chiefs for final review. assuming everything is fine and there's no additional edits, it should be ready to go for mid-November. I'm hoping that even if there are edits, we should be able to get it in. All of the edits are due back by November or October 31st from everyone that it's been sent to, and then we'll go from there. So if there's any concerns with regards to maybe the names that we used in the video, or maybe now that we've gone through the process of working with the two chiefs, that may be something that we thought was acceptable in the video at that time maybe isn't acceptable now, feel free to let us know, or any other small details, because we do want to make sure that it's perfect before it goes live. The intention was that it would be on the city YouTube channel for viewing, so it will be available there. Potentially looking at how it could be announced at the November 15th council meeting, so we'll need to have a conversation with Mark as to how that would look, but that will be once everything's all finalized. With that said, if there's any questions on the video or thoughts, feel free to let me know.
And then hopefully the video as of right now is about 14 minutes. So if it is something that is presented at City Council, I doubt they'll be able to screen the entire video, but the plan is, if it is ready by mid-November to be released for Native American Heritage Month, is that we would screen the entire video as our presentation for our November meeting. So let's hope that it does make it through the process, and that we can really celebrate and acknowledge Native American Heritage Month in a different way this year in San Gabriel. Are there any other things that anyone else would like to bring up about our annual work plan? Okay, then we will move to agenda item number 5, which is commission reports. And we will start on the right with Commissioner Brinha. So I'm sorry. So we're going to move to commissioner reports. It's each commissioner may address the HEAR Commission in public on matters of general information and/or concern. This is also the time for commissioners to report on conferences and/or meetings that they have attended.
I don't have anything this month. Thanks.
I don't have anything to add.
Wait, actually, I did. I guess I just wanted to bring up that the fall festival, is it called the Fall Festival?
Fall Fun Festival.
Fall Fun Festival is happening in the Mission District, and I'm gonna come out and be part of it for McKinley PTA. But yeah, I hope a lot of families come out. It'd be fun to see everybody.
Okay, I do have a few items today. Surprise. October is Pink Patch Month. I want to remind all the ladies to get their mammograms. It is very important. It is very worthwhile. Speaking from experience, it can be life-saving. Early detection is important, so please go out and do that. The other thing I want to bring up is to recognize our Hispanic neighbors, that this is Hispanic Heritage Month. We thank them for all of their culture that they have given to us, and certainly their food. It's great. So we want to thank them. I want to recognize them. Thirdly, I want to bring forth an item that was recently brought to my attention, about a situation with a resident that had a problem with noise. She came to the police department, talked with the chief. The chief then pulled together our community engagement team. They went out to the house of this particular resident. She lives on DeSales, and unfortunately her bedroom was right next to a group home. And it was very noisy during the middle of the night as the group home, their parking lot, people were coming and going. Shift changes and what have you. She was unable to sleep because we had a very hot summer and the windows were open. The engagement team went out to the house. They assessed the situation, found that she had a bedroom on the other side of the house. So they put a plan together. The plan was to move her to the other side of the house into the bedroom. They gathered some police officers and the engagement team, moved her over to that bedroom, bought her a portable air conditioning unit. Problem was solved. The lady was able to sleep in peace and be comfortable. I just want to recognize the community engagement team. They wear many hats in this community. People need to realize they are there to serve the community. They do not know that I'm even talking about them, and if they did, they would be unhappy. But I think it's time that I speak up and say, hey, they did a good job. Lastly, I want to remind everybody to get out and vote. This is our freedom in this country, is to vote. We have the opportunity to vote to whatever we want to as far as the amendments. The people that are running, it is our choice, and we have the freedom to do that. So please get out and vote. Thank you.
I have a couple of things. I attended the Community Benefit Advisory quarterly meeting with the City of Hope and got a little preview of the Community Health Needs Assessment report that's being prepared for SPA 3 in the San Gabriel Valley. There were some interesting findings, particularly around mental health, that I will be able to share with the Commission and the community when the report is finalized and published. But in the meantime, the Health Consortium of the Greater San Gabriel Valley will be hosting a virtual conference on December 8th that will discuss behavioral health, with one goal being to provide opportunities to learn about behavioral health needs among historically underserved populations using a diversity, equity, and inclusion lens. There'll be a virtual expo, presentations, and workshops, including cultural stigma, the opioid epidemic, and trends on social emotional development among children and youth. My understanding is there is a free registration for high school students, so I'm going to ask for that link to share. And there's also a low or no registration for any low-income participants. You can find more information about it at healthconsortiumsgv.org. Their registration is supposed to be open, but when I checked, it's not quite up and running yet. But once again, the date is December 8th. And then I'd like to recommend an LA Times and PEN America virtual event, Reading Between the Lines, on November 3rd, coming up soon at 6 p.m., which is part of their Virtual Ideas Exchange program. They're going to be having a discussion to address race, equity, books, and cultural diversity in publishing today. The panel will include a National Book Award nominee, a publisher, a researcher, and a publicist. It's free online, and you can register on Eventbrite by searching for LA Times Between the Lines. And then lastly, I'd like to highlight that the actress Anna May Wong will be the first Asian American to be featured on U.S. currency. And for those who are not familiar with her, she was born in 1905 in Los Angeles, a third-generation Chinese American who became Hollywood's first Asian American movie star. And many of her 60 movies were made in the silent era. The most famous was Shanghai Express with Marlene Dietrich. She earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960 and passed away the following year. She will appear on 300 million quarters as part of the U.S. Mint's American Women Quarters program that celebrates 5 trailblazing women each year between 2022 and 2025. So the other women that were recognized this year were poet Maya Angelou, astronaut Sally Ride, suffragist and politician Nina Otero Warren, and Wilma Mankiller, who was the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. I haven't seen any of these quarters yet, but I'm going to be looking for them and hope to collect all 20 of them by the end of the program. So that's it for me. Wishing everyone who's celebrating a happy Diwali.
It's very difficult to follow, Vice Chair Goto. Just saying. But I just want to, I ran across something. I'm trying to be like Vice Chair Goto and have some stuff prepared for you. Maybe that's a new thing for 2023, right? But anyways, I ran into something that is really, when we promote diversity, I think it was a really cool thing that we're having here in the city. It's a two-time Grammy Award winner, Mariachi Los Camperos, are back at the Playhouse. So I just want to make that announcement. I think that's going to be a real fun event. It's going to be on November 5th at 7:30, and tickets are $35. So they're going to be playing music. Oh, well, let me go back. The theme is going to be a dead theme, celebrating cover music from 1920s to today. So I'm kind of curious to see what kind of music they're gonna play, or which songs they're gonna play. Just want to welcome all the community, everybody invited. This is a perfect way to see what our Hispanic traditions are like, and I just want to welcome all the community to come and indulge and come and have fun. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm just going to echo a couple of things that have been said, but just to finish it off. So as October closes, as Commissioner Fitzsimmons reminded us, Hispanic Heritage Month was September 15th through October 15th, but the city of San Gabriel is still going to be celebrating with our Dia de los Muertos celebration on November 3rd, which is 6 to 9 p.m. here in the Mission District. If you haven't participated, it's a really incredible event. You don't have to be Hispanic or Latinx to participate in the altar, which is a celebration of your loved ones who have passed on. So I usually put my in-laws, my father's picture up there every year. So it's a beautiful way to celebrate that, so please consider it. As George just mentioned, we're gonna have the mariachi event on November 5th. So those are really great ways to close out Hispanic Heritage Month. In addition to the Hispanic culture, October also celebrates Filipino American and Italian American cultural heritages, so keep that in mind as well. And then a couple of public health issues that are highlighted during October, as I mentioned, with the Foothill Family presentation. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, as well as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as Commissioner Fitzsimmons mentioned. So please, if you need a mammogram and you don't have insurance, you can go to freemammograms.org, and they will tell you where you can get a local free mammogram in the area if you don't have insurance coverage for that. And then just to keep in mind also, I just came back from a meeting literally today in Boston. One of the symposiums was an update on COVID. Despite recent announcements by some very prominent figures, COVID is very much still out there. Hospitalizations are starting to increase. Fortunately, we haven't seen deaths increase, but it is still very much going to be part of our existence. They're kind of expecting a peak in January, another one. So the recommendations are that certainly in large public indoor gatherings that you consider wearing a mask. Outside, maybe not so much, but and get your boosters if you haven't already received one. And then last thing, again, as Commissioner Fitzsimmons just reminded us, if you are not aware, this is an election year, so November 8th is our election day, but mail-in ballots have already gone out. Vote centers are going to open in some locations on October 29th. So voting is really the easiest and the most impactful way of engaging in your community. So please do vote. If you go to our city's website and you go to the government page and you go to the city clerk department, there's an election section that will give you all kinds of links and information if you need any of that about where to vote, how to vote, who to vote, or who's running, all those things. So thank you very much. It's me. So now we'll move on to number 6, which is staff comments. Staff members have the opportunity to address the commission and public on matters of general information and/or concern. Matthew or Adrian, do you have any comments?
Yes, so in follow-up from the last meeting, the guest speaker from the LA County Department of Public Health provided the report that was requested with regards to kind of who they've served or how many workshops they've provided. So it's included in your packet. It's a bright red document. So from January through June 2022, they presented 494 workshops in Spanish, 133 in Korean, 10 in Chinese, and 81 in English, for a total number of workshops of 718. They've provided 497 virtual workshops and 221 in-person workshops. And your final statistics are the total number of community members reached were 7,684, and the total number of people linked to services is 178, all within a 6-month time frame.
Thank you. And I was able to listen to that meeting. I think Commissioner Herrera's question was more around if they had numbers for how many participants were on the day of our mental wellness expo, if she was able to give you any kind of estimate of those numbers.
I'll double check with her. I don't think she had an exact count for that day, since she wasn't in each room, but potentially we can get a better count on that. Thank you for clarifying.
Any other comments?
So the upcoming events that we have are the Fall Fun Festival on October 28th. That'll be all in the Mission District from Broadway to Santa Anita. And then on November 3rd, as many of the commissioners have mentioned, it's the Dia de los Muertos event, which will be actually inside the Mission Playhouse this year. So it won't be in the plaza. So all of the performances, it's much more community-based performances than the performances on Saturday in the Playhouse. That way it's not a conflict and you're getting a different aspect of the culture as well. We'll all be on stage, and then the altars will be in the lobby. So just as a note there to the community, all of the information for all of our events are on the website. You can see the event flyer. And then, of course, our public information officer is pushing the information out on social media. The last one to close out the year is going to be our tree lighting, which is on Tuesday, December 6th. So again, that has all of our community, our community performances, as well as a visit from Santa, photos with Santa, food trucks, and that all takes place at Plaza Park.
And for the altar, usually there's a link that you can send in your pictures, and that's going to be on the website as well.
I will double check that it's on the website, but you can also email Christina in our office, or you can email myself, and we can get that taken care of.
Thank you. So with that, we will move to adjournment. The next regular HERE Commission meeting will be held on Tuesday, November 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Information regarding matters to be considered at each meeting will be available on the Friday before the HERE Commission meeting on the city's website at www.sangabrielcity.com. This regular meeting is now adjourned at 8:10 p.m. Thank you, everyone.